Hello YouTube and welcome. In this video I would like to do with you the unboxing of this 2017 Commander deck, the Vampiric Bloodlust. So in the last month I have been played with 2017 Draconic Domination. This was the deck that I chose at the release at the time. So in this past month, I have been playing a lot with this deck, having great fun. I have been making some changing. So I thought that since I like it so much of this format, the Commander format, why not try another deck? So right here I choose the Vampiric Bloodlust. So let's see what we can get inside. So like a normal commander deck, uh, this package contains a full 100 cards deck. With this year the decks are tribal, so we have vampires, um, dragons, cats and wizards. So here we have the oversized commander premium in foiled. So here it is, the Edgar Markov, the commander for this deck. We have to spend to cast it a swamp, a plain, a mountain and 3 colors. And it is a 4/4 creature. At eminence, whenever you cast another vampire spell, if Edgar Markov is in the command zone or on the battlefield, create a 1/1 black vampire creature token. And I see this happen a lot in the other decks. He has first strike and haste. Whenever Edgar Markov attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on each vampire you control. So this can get really crazy, really fast. Put it in here. Here is our strategy for this deck. This time, in this year at least, without the deck list. And here we have the deck. So this is the quick reference rules for the Magic the Gathering, usually in this kind of product. So let's get open this amazing deck. So here it is. And starts with Edgar Markov. So I already talked about this card using the overlarge card that comes with it. We also have Lycia Sanguine Tribune, another legendary creature. So a swamp, a plain, a mountain in 5 colors. Lycia Sanguine Tribute costs 1 less mana to cast for each 1 life you gain this turn. Has first strike and life link. Pay 5 life, put 3/1/1/1 counter on Lycia. Activate this ability only on your turn and only once each turn. So great ability also. So the third legendary creature in this deck is Marta's Fiend Seeker. The cost is 1 swamp, 1 plain and 1 mountain. He has menace. At the beginning of your end step, put a bounty counter on target creature and opponent controls For as long as the creature has the bounty counter on it, it has when this creature dies, each opponent draws a card and gains 2 life, and it's a 3/3. I already see this in action, and this is really powerful. Now we have the tokens. So the bat, of course, he has flying, and it is a 1/1. The zombie creature, 2/2. More bats. An Andrazi Spun. Sacrifice this creature, adds a colorless to your mana pool, and it is a 0/1. And in the other side, we have the vampires. Vampires creatures 1/1. And that's it for the tokens. Now, seeing the rest of the deck, we have Go to the Throat for 1 colorless and 1 swamp. Destroy target non-artifact creature. Bloodline Necromancer, 4 colorless and 1 swamp. He has lifelink, very good. When Bloodline Necromancers enter the battlefield, you may return target vampire or wizard creature card from your graveyard to your battlefield, and he's a 3/2. Curse of Disturbance, 2 colorless and 1 swamp. Enchant player. Whenever enchant player is attacked, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Each opponent attacking that player does the same. This is also a great card. Here we have an equipment. Heirloom Blade, 3 colors. Equipment creature gets +3/+1. Whenever equipment creature dies, you may reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card that shares a creature type with it. Put the card in your hand and the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order, and it costs 1 colorless to equip. Return to Dust, 2 colorless and 2 planes, an instant. Exile target artifact or enchantment. If you cast this spell during your main phase, you may exile up to 1 other target artifact or enchantment. Sword of Plowshares, 1 plane. Exile target creature. Its controller gains life equal to his power. Ambitious Cost, 3 colors and 1 swamp. You draw 3 cards and you lose 3 lives. Sometimes this is good. Blood Artist, 1 colorless and 1 swamp. Whenever Blood Artist or another creature dies, target player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. And it is a 0/1. Blood Husk Ritualist, 2 colorless and 1 swamp. He has multi-kicker with 1 span. So if you pay an additional swamp any number of times you cast this spell. When Blood Husk Ritualist enters in the battlefield, target opponent discards a card for each time he was kicked. So this is terrible for the other players. Great card, this one. Falkenrath Noble, a vampire, 3 colors and 1 swamp. He has flying. Whenever Falkenrath Noble or another creature dies, target player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life, and it is a 2/2, so another card with almost the same effect. Curse of Vitality, 2 colors and 1 plane. Ancient player, whenever ancient player is attacked, you gain 2 life. Each opponent attacking that player does the same. Howl of Olamud, 1 colorless and 2 swamps. Whenever pawn of a Lagaman or another non-talker creature you control dies, you may create a 0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature token. He has sacrificed this creature, add 1 colorless to your mana pool, and it is a 2/2. Read the Bones, 2 colorless and 1 swamp. Scry 2, then draw 2 cards. You lose 2 life. Skeletal Scrying, X colorless and 1 swamp. As an additional cost to cast Skeletal Scrying, exile X cards from your graveyard. You draw X cards and you lose X life. Could be handy sometimes. Siphon Mind, 3 colorless and 1 swamp. Each other player discards a card. You draw a card for each card discarded this way. Very funny this one, really. Vampire Nighthawk, 1 colorless and 2 swamps. He has Flying, Death Touch and Lifelink, and it is a 2/3. Rakish Hare, 2 colorless and 1 mountain. Whenever vampire you control deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it is a 2/2. Mortify, 1 colorless, 1 plan, and 1 swamp. Destroy target creature or enchantment. Very handy this one. Stormkirk Captain, 1 colorless, 1 swamp, and 1 mountain. Sorry. He has first strike. Other vampire creatures you control gets +1/+1 and have first strike. Great card, this one, and it is a 2/2. Tight Drinker, a plane and a swamp, has life link, and he has his art. Whenever you cast a spell, you may pay a plane or a swamp. If you do that, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain that much life. And it is a 2/1. Boros Signet, 2 colors. For 1 tap, add 1 mountain and 1 plane to your mana pool. Orzhov Signet, 2 colors. For 1 tap, he adds 1 plane and 1 swamp to your mana pool. Rakdos Signet, 2 colors. For 1 tap, add 1 swamp and 1 mountain to your mana pool. Skull Clamp, 1 colors. Equipment creature gets +1/-1. Whenever equipment creature dies, draw 2 cards, and they cost 1 to equip. I see these cards being very useful too many times. The famous Soul Ring, for 1 colorless tap, adds 2 colors to your mana pool. Worn Power Stone, 3 colors. Worn Power Stone enters the battlefield tapped. Then, when you tap it, adds 2 colors to your mana pool. Here we have a normal swamp. Kindred Boon, 2 colors and 2 planes. As Kindred Boon enters in the battlefield, choose a creature type. For 1 colorless and 1 plane, put a divinity counter on target creature you control of those type. Each creature you control with a divinity counter on it is indestructible. Great. Teferi's Protection, 2 colorless and a plane. Until the next turn, your life total can change and you have protection from everything. All permanents you control phase out. While they phase out, they treat as to they didn't exist. They phase in before your untap during your untap step. Exile Terrafix Protection. I saw this one already in action, and it is a good card. Keru Mind Eater, 2 colorless and 1 swamp. Has menace. Whenever Keru Mind Eater deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles a card from his or her hand face down. You may look at and play cards exiled with Keru Mind Eater. And it is 1/3. Crazy card is one also. New Blood, 2 colorless and 2 swamps. As an additional cost to cast New Blood, tap an untapped vampire you control. Gain control of target creature. Change the text of that creature by replacing all instants of one creature type with vampire. So this is the card. Sorry, this is the card that they gave me headaches, because usually the player with a vampire deck with this card easily can take a dragon that I have in the battlefield and use it. So this is crazy. Too bad this one for the other players. In my case, when I usually play with dragons, they stole me a dragon. So can you imagine? Patron of the Vein, 4 colorless and 2 swamps. Has flying. When Patron of the Vein enters the battlefield, destroy target creature an opponent controls. Whenever a creature an opponent control dies, exile it and put a +1/+1 counter on each vampire you control. And it is a 4/4. Bloodsword Steward, 2 colorless and 2 mountains. As flying, commander creatures you control gets +2/+2 and have haste. And it is a 4/4. Crimson Honor Guard, 3 colorless and 2 mountains. As trample, at the beginning of each player end step, Crimson Honor Guard deals 4 damage to that player unless he or she controls a commander, and it is a 4/5. Disrupt Decorum, 2 colorless and 2 mana. Go to all creatures you don't control. Until the next turn, those creatures attack each combat if able, and attack a player other than you if able. Great card this one. Kindred Charge, 4 colorless and 2 mountains. Choose a creature type. For each creature you control of the chosen type, create a token that is a copy of that creature. Those tokens gain haste. Exile them at the beginning of your next end step. And this can be really crazy. Really crazy. Blind Obedience, 1 colorless and 1 plain. Has Exhort. Whenever you cast a spell, you may pay a plain or a swamp. If you do, each opponent lose 1 life and you get that much life. Artifacts or creatures your opponent control enters in the battlefield tapped. Fell the Mighty, 4 colors and a plain. Destroy all creatures with power greater than the target creature's power. This one is really fun for the player who uses it. Great card this one. Unknown one, the Ruin Sage, 3 colorless and 2 swamps. It's a legendary creature. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player sacrifices a non-vampire creature, and it is a 4/3. This one is a really crazy one also. Terrible for the other players. Black Market, 3 colorless and 2 swamps. Whenever a creature dies, put a charge counter on the black market. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, add one swamp at your mana pool for each charge counter on the black market. This could be fun. Blood Tribute. So 4 colors and 2 swamps. He has Kicker, tap and untap vampire you control. You may tap a vampire you control in addition to any other cost as you cast the spell. Target opponent loses half of his or her life rounded up. If Blood Tribune was kicked, you gain life equal to the life lost this way. Crazy card this one. One of the best of this deck, definitely. Bloodlust of Vashgot, 3 colors and 2 planes. Bloodthirst 3. If an opponent was deal damage this turn, this creature enters in the battlefield with 3 +1/+1 counters on it. It has flying, and whenever you cast a vampire creature spell, it gains Bloodthirst 3. And it is a 3/3. Crazy card this one. Blood Baron of Iskova, 3 colors, 1 plane and 1 swamp. He has lifelink, protection from white and black. As long as you have 30 or more life and your opponent has 10 or less, Blood Baron of Iskova gets +6/+6 and has flying. Crazy one. Butcher of Malarkey, 5 colors and 2 swamps. Has flying. Whenever Butcher of Malakir or another creature you control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature, and it is a 5/4. Captivating Vampire, 1 color and 2 swamps. Other creatures you control gets +1/+1. Tap 5, untap vampires you control. Gain control of target creature. It becomes a vampire in addition to the other types, and it is a 2/2. This one is another head for me. This is crazy. Sorry about the interruption. So I was showing this one, Captivating Vampire, 1 colors and 2 swamps. Other vampire creatures you control gets +1/+1. Tap 5, untap creatures you control. Gain control of target creature. It becomes a vampire in addition to his other types, and it is a 2/2. This one is another head for me. Another way that the other players has to stolen my dragons. Consuming vapors, 3 colors and 1 swamp. Target player sacrifice a creature. You gain life equal to this creature's toughness. He has rebound. If you cast the spell from your hand, exile it as it resolves. At the beginning of your next upkeep, you may cast this card from exile without paying his mana cost. Then we'll pack X and 2 swamps. Target player draws X cards and loses X life. Dark Imposter, 2 colors and 1 swamp. For 4 colors and 2 swamps, exile target creature and put a +1/+1 counter on Dark Imposter. Dark Imposter has all the activated abilities of all creature cards exiled with it, and it is a 2/2. Crazy one also. Drana Calastria Bloodchief, 3 colors and 2 swamps. Has flying, X and 2 swamps. Target creature gets -0/-X until the end of turn, and Drana Calistria Bloodchief gets +X/+0 until the end of the turn, and it is a 4/4. Malakir, Blood Witch, 3 colors and 2 swamps. He has flying and protection from white. When Malakir, Blood Witch enters in the battlefield, each opponent loses life equal to the number of vampires you control. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. And it is a 4/4. So the vampire has a lot of ways of gaining life during the game and make the other opponents lose it that amount of life also. Sangromancer, 2 colors and 2 swamps. He has flying. Whenever a creature an opponent control dies, you may gain 3 life. Whenever an opponent discards the cards, you may gain 3 lives. And it is a 3/3. Sanguine Bond, 3 colors and 2 swamps. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. Skeletal Vampire, 4 colors and 2 swamps. He has flying. When Skeletal Vampire enters in the battlefield, create 2 1/1 black bat creatures tokens with flying. For 3 colors and 2 swamps, sacrifice a bat, create 2 1/1 black bat creature tokens with fly. And it is a 3/3. Sacrifice a bat, regenerate Skeletal Vampire. Crazy one. Underworld Connections, 1 colorless and 2 swamps. Ancient Land. Ancient Land has tap, pay 1 life, draw a card. Interesting this one. Vine Drinker, 4 colorless and 2 swamps. Has flying. For a mountain tap, Vine Drinker deals damage equal to his power to target creature. That creature deals damage equal to his power to Vine Drinker. Whenever a creature deals damage to Vine Drinker, this turn dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Vine Drinker, and it is a 4/4. Outpost Siege, 3 colors and a mountain. As Outpost Siege enters in the battlefield, choose Cans of Dragons. Cans, at the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library. Until the end of the turn, you may play that card. Dragons, whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, Outpost Siege deals 1 damage to target creature or player. 21. Crackling Doom, a mountain, a plain, and a swamp. Crackling Doom deals 2 damage to each opponent. Each opponent sacrifices a creature with the greatest power among creatures he or she controls. Crazy card this one. Another one. Merciless Eviction, 4 colors, a plain, and a swamp. Choose 1, exile all artifacts, exile all creatures, exile all enchantments, and exile all planeswalkers. Can be very powerful this one. Blade of the Blood Chief, 1 colorless. Whenever a creature dies, put a +1/+1 counter on equipment creature. If equipment creature is a vampire, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it instead, and it costs 1 to equip. Door of Destinies, 4 colors. As Door of Destinies enters in the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever you cast a spell of the chosen type, put a charger counter of Door of Destinies. Creatures you control of the chosen type gets +1/+1 for each charge counter on the Door of Destinies. Very powerful this one. Well of the Lost Dreams, 4 colors. Whenever you gain life, you may pay X, where X is less than or equal to the amount of life you gain. If you do, draw X card. Fantastic card this one. I already see this one in action and this is crazy. Now we have the basic lands. Let's see what we have. So swamps, mountains, of course, plains. We have Path of Ancestry. Path of Ancestry enters the battlefield. Tap it. Adds to your mana pool one mana of any color of your commander's color identity. When that mana is spent to cast a creature spell that shares a creature type with your commander, scry 1. Great card this one. Acom Refuge. Acom Refuge enters in the battlefield. Tap it. When Acom Refuge enters in the battlefield, you gain 1 life. You tap it, you add 1 swamp or 1 mountain to your mana pool. Bloodfell Caves. Bloodfell Caves enters in the battlefield. Tap it. When Bloodfell Caves enters in the battlefield, you gain 1 life. Tap it, you gain 1 swamp and 1 mountain to your mana pool. Bojuka Bog. Bojuka Bog enters in the battlefield. Tap it. When Bojuka Bog enters the battlefield, exile all cards from target player's graveyard. Tap it, add 1 swamp to your mana pool. Boros Garrison, a very well known card. Boros Garrison enters the battlefield. Tap it. When Boros Garrison enters the battlefield, return a land you control to his owner hand. Tap it and you gain a mountain and a plain to your mana pool. Boros Guildgate. Boros Guildgate enters in the battlefield. Tap it. Adds 1 mountain and 1 plain to your mana pool. Cinder Barrens. Cinder Barrens enters the battlefield. Tap it. You tap it. You add 1 swamp and 1 mountain to your mana pool. Command Tower, well known also. Tap. Add to your mana pool 1 mana of any color of your commander's color identity. Involving Wilds, very well known also. Tap it. Sacrifice Involving Wilds. Search a library for a basic land card and put it in the battlefield. Tap it. Then shuffle your deck. Forsaken Sanctuary. Forsaken Sanctuary enters in the battlefield. Tap it. Tap it. Add 1 plain and 1 swamp to your mana pool. Kibira Crossroads. Kibira Crossroads enters in the battlefield. Tap it. When Kibira Crossroads enters in the battlefield, you gain 2 life. Tap it. Add 1 plain to your mana pool. Nomad Outpost. Nomad Outpost enters in the battlefield. Tap it. Tap it. Add 1 mountain, 1 plain or 1 swamp to your mana pool. Opal Palace. Tap it. Add 1 colors to your mana pool. For 1, tap it. Add to your mana pool 1 mana of any color of your commander's color identity. If you spend this mana to cast your commander, it enters in the battlefield with the number of additional 1+1/+1 counter on it equal to the number of times it's been cast from the command zone this game. This should be very interesting. Orzhov Basilica. Orzhov Basilica enters the battlefield. Tap it. When Orzhov Basilica enters in the battlefield, return a land you control to his owner hand. Tap it, add 1 plain and 1 swamp to your mana pool. Orzhov Guildgate. So he enters in the battlefield. Tap it, add 1 plain and 1 swamp to your mana pool. Rakdos Canarium. So he enters in the battlefield. Tap it. When he enters the battlefield, return a land you control to his owner hand. Tap it. You add 1 swamp and 1 mountain to your mana pool. Rakdos Guildgate enters in the battlefield. Tap it. Adds 1 swamp and 1 mountain to your mana pool. Scurried Barons. Enters in the battlefield, tap it. When he enters in the battlefield, you gain 1 life. Tap it, yet a plane and or a swamp to your mana pool. And they are a little glue. Oh my god. Okay. So we have Sun Quarry. Sun Quarry enters the battlefield, tap it. Tap it, add 1 mountain to or a plane to your mana pool. So it's the first time that I saw something like this. Cards glued. Terramorphic Expanse. Tap it, sacrifice Terraformic Expanse, search your library for a basic land card and put it in the battlefield, tap it, then shuffle your library. Urbolg Vulcano. Urbolg Vulcano enters the battlefield, tap it, adds 1 swamp or a mountain to your mana pool. Windscarred Crag. Windscarred Crag enters in the battlefield, tap it. When Windscarred Crag enters in the battlefield, you gain 1 life. Tap it, adds 1 mountain or a plane to your mana pool. And it is the last one. So this is the complete deck, the Vampiric Bloodlust. This deck definitely has really good cards. Some evil cards for the opponent players. The commanders are also fantastic. These commanders from this deck is really crazy. Mathas Fiendseeker, Lucia Sanguine Tribune, and of course the Edgar Markov. So this is what I have to share with you, the unboxing of this 2017 Commander deck. So after playing 1 month with the Draconic Domination, I'm now ready to start playing now with the Vampiric Bloodlust. So I already saw this deck being played and looks really fun and really hard to beat it. So let's see how I'm going to be playing with this deck. So this is what I have to share with you. I hope you enjoy it, you like it, and so far this is it. So see you next time.